Welcome to this webinar about the upcoming end of life of Microsoft AppV and Windows 10. In today's webinar, we're going to talk about the upcoming deadline and what this could mean for your organization. For today's webinar, I'm joined by Steve Horne, CEO of appCURE, Bram, founder and lead developer at AppVentiX, and I am Ingmar Verheij. I am a product manager at AppVentiX. Would you like to know how to keep your business running and compliant? Does the upcoming end of life keep you awake? Don't worry. At the end of this webinar, you'll know what appCURE and AppVentiX has to offer to help you get to the latest Microsoft operating system with the best Microsoft application delivery mechanism. So, what does an end of life of Microsoft really mean? Let's address the elephant in the room first. End of life does not mean the software stops working. After the end of life, AppV keeps working, and so does your Windows 10. Until it doesn't. Whenever something breaks or security vulnerabilities are disclosed, you won't receive support or updates. Yikes. In that case, your best option is negotiating an extended support contract with Microsoft. Luckily, the end of life date is still pretty far ahead, and you'll have plenty of time left to move off Windows 10 and AppV. The end of life of Windows 10 is exactly 24 months away from now, so that's October 2025. And the end of life of AppV is 6 months later, May 2026. While 2 to 2.5 years sounds like we can sit back and relax, we all know these transitions take a lot more time than we'd like. But if we act today, I'm confident that together we're going to make that date. So, what does it take to manage the lifecycle of software? Essentially, every software, and that includes software like AppV and Windows 10, go through the following 5 stages. We select and procure the software. The software gets deployed in your organization, and then regular maintenance happens. New releases are implemented, updates happen, and some bug fixes are applied. Technical and functional support is provided to the users of the application up to the moment the software is no longer needed or replaced by something else, and then we retire the software. appCURE and AppVentiX helps you to effectively manage the lifecycle of your applications from the moment you procure all the way up till the moment you retire the software and need to have it removed. Our combined toolset go hand in hand like peanut butter and jelly, or peanut butter and sprinkles, whatever you prefer. With appCURE, you can capture, update, remediate, and execute your applications, and perfectly complements AppVentiX, which provides real-time application distribution and management. Let's hear from Steve what appCURE has to offer and helps you to get off AppV and Windows 10 prior to that end-of-life deadline 2 years from now. Steve, take it away.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm just going to discuss with you today about one part of the problem, which is getting those applications moved. And as we all know, the problem is applications are typically tied to an operating system. And with these operating systems becoming out of support, out of compliance, and a security risk to businesses, people are now more concerned about moving to supported operating systems that are able to be looked after constantly as you move forwards. Now, the biggest problem occurs when people go to migrate their application workloads. What we're seeing is a few problems occurring. One is the time potential. One is the cost implication of projects to talk about application packaging and application remediation. And the other problem is the compliance people and security people are constantly saying this has to be done. And what happens is if you hit the roadblock, it will then be looked at as do we silo it? Do we look to not move it forwards? And how can we move forwards without having the capability of moving these applications? So real life scenarios are actually occurring today where we're talking to people who are moving from Windows 10 and have been told that they're going to be moving to Windows 11. And people today are actually being told it's going to take longer than the move from, let's say, the 2 years that we have Windows now to move to Windows 11 before Windows 10 goes end of life, just 250 apps. Now, this should not be the case. So the problem is huge as well, because when we look at the size of the problem and look at the number of applications that are out there, you can start to realize why this is becoming a problem, because we should all be able to now start to look after our applications and deliver them to the right people at the right time. So when we're talking today about transformation of the digital workplace, I'm now talking to clients more and more about having the opportunity to start to look at what the app does. What does the application manipulate? So does it manipulate confidential information? What does the actual user need to do? But also what the compliance and security of the company requires around certain applications while users are using them. So we could use this now as an opportunity to start to look at the categorization of our applications, to start to deliver them differently based on new formats. So when we talk about this, we're talking about modernization, as in taking something that can be traditional install and forget today, and then in the future make it more containerized or dynamic delivered via a VHD methodology, so people can get a better user experience. So appCURE, or the cure in appCURE, is about capture, update, remediate, and execute. So what we want to do is find the applications, update the applications where needed, remediate the applications when a fix is required, and then hand them off to AppVentiX to actually choose who gets what and when in what delivery mechanism. So we have a lot of methodologies to help you with this, and some of the unique ones we have will really accelerate your application transition. So some of the things we have that nobody else can do is, if you have applications with no install media, we can help by using a tool that we have called Running Capture, and I'll do you a demo of this today. And this will help you where, instead of trying to find install media where none is available, the people have left the business, there's no information available, we can help you move that application. What we want to do is get through this conversion process quickly. So what we say is use all technologies available, but get through it and we call it the 80-20 rule. We are a time to failure methodology. So if you need to move the apps from SCCM into AppVentiX, from traditional installs into AppVentiX, or you are also concerned about the AppV problem, then we can help you convert those AppV apps into a modernized format to then be delivered on. So what we do is this, 3 things. We do migrate, transform, and secure, but we understand that people need to be able to do this themselves. So this is a tool to make you the experts again, to give you the power to look at how your applications need to be managed on a continual basis. Now, what we actually do is we take many different forms of applications. So I've just talked about no install media, but we can take any form of these applications and run one of the methodologies, including if you have common off-the-shelf apps to download a new version, to be able to package these on your build on your machine. And what this actually does is gives you the capability of getting to MSIX, getting to the new modern format, and then being able to smoke test and remediate these applications to ensure that they work before you give them to a user to test. And then you can then, once the user has tested it and confirmed it all works correctly, say, this is just a package need to be delivered, or do we want to deliver this if it is capable of being done so as a modern deliverable, a dynamic workload? And then we hand it off to AppVentiX, who will then deliver it onto the end users. And this is a process that people say is a day an app, 2 days per app. What we've done is we've gone out, and some industry people have actually tested this and actually said you can do this very, very quickly. And it's about taking those workloads and modernizing them. And this is about getting your users and your customers to production faster. Now, if we can do the apps and AppVentiX can do the delivery, this basically means you have the best of both worlds, both sides of the coin covered. So this is what Microsoft said. We help with the packaging paralysis, get over this 1 to 2 year project. It should never be a 1 to 2 year project anymore. We should be able to give you the success of around 90%. Now, that doesn't mean we're going to get applications that can't be done. You just need to understand the fact that some applications, you need to do them in a different way if you can't do them in a singular way. MSIX appAttach. They are, one is a format, one is a delivery mechanism. And then what you can then do is start to look at the future of how you deliver your applications. And this could be as simply as you have a profile that manages differences. You have MSIX appAttach, or app file containers, and then you have the OS that's delivered. And what this means is you can have this delivered, and at a point in time, AppVentiX can actually deliver the application workloads to either virtual or physical, depending on what the end user is on, what the application actually needs to be deployed on, or the security around the application, where a user can get applications where they're not really have any security sort of pitfalls, no transfer, they're not manipulating any databases, and they can be delivered to physical machines. But this all still needs to be controlled. So what appCURE does is just help with the application side of the problem, and we try to deliver older out of support operating system applications, and this now includes Windows 10, to in support operating systems, which will be Windows 11. And what we try to do is get you to a standard Microsoft native format. It's a Microsoft app, so there's no lock-in. You don't need an agent to run them. But what we say is we're an admin tool. So we are making you, again, the experts to be able to do this yourselves, or work with partners to help you with the transition. So what I'll do is I'll show you a demo now of an application being done fairly quickly. So what I've got here is, this is appCURE Studio. It runs on something as simple as a laptop or a VM. It's an Azure template. You can build it on whatever you want, or wherever your image is going to be. Now I'm going to run an app called, I'm only going to do a simple app. It's Procmon. Everybody probably knows Procmon on this call. And what we're going to do is we're going to actually do a running capture of Procmon, because Procmon is a click to run app. It runs from a folder. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to list the running apps, and you'll see here I'm listing all the applications and all the services that are actually running on this machine. What I actually want to do is just take Procmon. So I'm just going to create a new folder on the desktop, and I'm going to use that as the point to take Procmon. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to capture it. Now what this does, as you can see, is we're interested in what Procmon is doing on the machine and what it is talking to and using on this machine. So that's actually taken Procmon now. And now what we're going to do is package Procmon. Now people will say it's complex to build MSIXs. They don't get a good percentage of success. Now, what we say is, if you've got installers, you can do installers. If you've got AppV, we have a conversion process with an AppV capture. But what you can always do is go back to the original OS it was made from, or capture it from a machine it's running on. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put Procmon back to the same folder. We know it's a 64-bit app. It's not Visual Basic. I'm not going to put a timestamp in, and I'm going to add a certificate. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create Procmon. Does a bit of tidy up, and now we're just going to create the application package. So this will go through the procedures to create the package. It will create some other sort of packages as well around MSIX can use fix-ups if your application doesn't run as a standard application. You may have to run something else. So we try and create this for you as well. And what we also try to do is give you the ability to add your certificate, change your certificate, or even change all the certificates on your MSIX packages before you go to production. That's actually finished. So what I have now is an application in here with a few extra things where I can have fix-ups. But what I want to show you is what AppVentiX can also help you with is understanding the certificate that needs to be delivered to the physical machine that needs to match the actual certificate that's within the MSIX. So what I'm going to quickly do now is I'm just going to say, if you have done 100 apps, 200 apps, 1,000 apps, what you'll probably want to do is put a production certificate when you're ready to go to production. So what I'm doing now is just going to update the certificate within that package, and that is now done. So I can now close Procmon and now install Procmon. So this basically means through AppVentiX, you can now control who gets applications where typically they would be clicked to run apps. Now, this is one format. What I'm also going to do is give you the ability to actually create MSIX app attach. So this is based on a VHD with the application in an installed state on the VHD. So we also have the ability to take a whole folder and create a whole folder worth of MSIXs into MSIX app attach. Now this, you need to be understanding if the app is a good candidate for app attach. You need to understand if you need elevated privileges within the MSIX, and if you go to app attach, those privileges will not work. But now I have another way to actually deliver what we've now converted. So if I was to now remove Procmon and uninstall it, now the great thing with MSIX is there's nothing left behind. And now if I was to just quickly do a smoke test of the VHD that we have now created, what you're going to see is Procmon reappear. And what this is doing is it's dynamically delivering this from a VHD. So where Procmon was gone, it is now back. No install process, just mounting in an installed state from a VHD. Now, this is about choice. This is about what is right. They are both right, but certain applications need to have certain things that are put into them. Other applications don't. So this is where you can actually now make sense of what you need. And this is where I'll hand back over to Ingmar and Bram, where they can go and talk about, once we've done the MSIXs and handed them off, which is here, to AppVentiX, what they can do with the packages.
Thank you, Steve. Well, appCURE truly is a wonderful tool to create and smoke test your MSIX applications. So if you're not too familiar with the term MSIX, I can imagine that by now you've written this down to investigate, and can only highly recommend you do. In short, MSIX is the new Microsoft standard for application delivery. It's natively supported in Windows 10 and 11, amongst others. MSIX is a Windows application package format that combines the best features of MSI, AppX, AppV, and ClickOnce. So years of experience and knowledge can be found in this new format. And the best thing is, no third-party proprietary software is needed to run your applications. So there's no vendor lock-in, except Microsoft, of course, but they're already providing your operating system. Just like with AppV, your applications becomes portable. They are delivered as a container, meaning you can easily distribute an application to your device without the need to install and nest into your operating system, as Steve just demonstrated in his demo. New applications or versions of applications can be made available on the fly, and because the applications are distributed as a container, Installations are significantly more reliable and clean installs are guaranteed. And when you run MSIX native, so not through AppVentiX, the virtualized process improves interoperability between applications that could otherwise conflict. This is one of the reasons why MSIX is the best alternative to AppV. So, lost my mouse. I still lost my mouse. Anyone see my mouse? Yeah, there it is. AppVentiX, a solution that makes it incredibly simple and straightforward to deploy and update Microsoft application packages in your environment. It is a lightweight and powerful deployment and management solution for AppV, MSIX, native or delivered through AppVentiX, and FSLogic's app masking, a technology which is acquired by Microsoft and natively integrated into Windows. With AppVentiX, you can run AppV and MSIX side by side, allowing for a granular migration to a modern delivery mechanism. We provide single-click migration from AppV to MSIX and to AppVentiX conversions. AppVentiX provides real-time distribution of your application packages to your physical endpoints, VDI or RDS environments in your on-premises data center, and your desktop as a service, such as Microsoft AVD, Citrix, VMware, etc. And the best thing is, we provide granular access control and masking, so your employees get access to the applications they need. No need for additional tooling or administrative consoles. AppVentiX is already trusted by customers found in healthcare, banking, enterprise, and public sector. When asked why they've chosen AppVentiX for the application lifecycle management, they tell us we provide them real-time control and visibility of their applications and simplify support. We provide a single pane of glass for the physical and virtual environment. The ability to run AppV and MSIX side by side, allowing them to migrate on their own terms, and help them with the migration with a single click. Because we enable them to leverage the new industry standard from Microsoft and avoid the use of proprietary technology, and because we have no complex infrastructure requirements. And of course, we complement the existing Microsoft technologies like AVD or Cloud PC. AppVentiX delivers applications on your physical endpoints, your desktops and laptops, but also in your virtual environments. There's support for Microsoft AVD, Cloud PC, the on-premise remote desktop servers. Citrix is fully supported both on-prem and in the cloud, and the same applies for VMware. This applies for single session, multi-session, persistent or non-persistent. For identity and access support, we support Microsoft Active Directory, and since the latest release, we will have full support for Microsoft Entra ID, formerly known as Azure Active Directory. Direct line of sight with your AD is not needed. We hardly see customers who only have one of these technology stacks mentioned above. Typically, there's a good mix between physical and virtual. Customers are exploring cloud technologies, but on-premises environments are far from gone. Now, enough with the talking. Let's see what the product really does, and time for a demo. appCURE captures and creates your application packages and stores them in a central content repository. This is where AppVentiX takes over. In this demonstration, we're going to show you how AppVentiX helps you manage and distribute your applications across your systems. If you're not yet familiar with AppVentiX, this will be a good introduction to our tool. And if you're already familiar, we've got some great new innovations we'd like to show to you. Our development team has worked hard on a new release, which is available today. AppVentiX comes with a management console which provides a single pane of glass across your environment. This is your central view and is used for administration of AppVentiX. Access to the AppVentiX central view is role-based, which means you have control over which of your sysadmins can administer AppVentiX. This is one of the new capabilities of our latest release. AppVentiX can be configured to use your on-premises Active Directory or Entra ID, the former name of Azure Active Directory. Line of sight with an on-prem domain controller is no longer needed as of our latest release. Your applications are stored in content repositories. This is where applications like appCURE outputs its MSIX packages. We don't need any complex infrastructure. A file server is sufficient. This can be your regular Microsoft file server, Nutanix, NetApp, or any other supported file system. And Azure File Support is available for when your environment is in the cloud. Hybrid environments, where some of your Windows desktops are on-premises and some in the cloud, are supported as well and is commonly seen at AppVentiX customers who are transitioning to the cloud or back. From the content repository, we manage the application packages that are available for distribution to the Windows machines and to which of our users we make those applications available. What you'll see is that we not only provide access to the Microsoft MSAX format, but from the same page we manage AppAttach and your AppV applications. This not only reduces the administrative overhead of managing multiple consoles, it also reduces the infrastructure need to run AppV. For each application in the content repository, we can view and configure the specifics of that package. We can see the details of an application, including the apps or those items that will be visible to your users in the Start menu. You can easily configure for who the application is available, which works on your physical desktop, but also on your virtual desktop, including Azure Virtual Desktop. And when the amount of application increases, you might want to prioritize the delivery of core applications, and AppVentiX helps you with that. When you're using AVD and want to publish the applications as a remote app, there's no need to do this in yet another console. This can be done directly from AppVentiX. Your users run their applications from desktops or Windows machines. AppVentiX enables you to distribute applications to your Windows machines based on their specific characteristics. Persistent machines have different requirements than non-persistent, and your desktops in the cloud benefit from storage as close as possible. And as you transition from Windows 10 to Windows 11, these might have different characteristics too. AppVentiX enables you to configure multiple machine groups to match those specific characteristics and provide a single pane of glass to see what is going on in real time. Each machine automatically reports its status, so you always have the latest information at your fingertips. This is again one of the innovations of the latest release. When you'd like to receive real-time information, there's also the possibility to query the agent for live information using the blue refresh cycle icon. Your sysadmins can quickly see which applications are available on the machines, which users have access, and what processes are running, and perform actions to support users when needed. For each machine group, one or more content repositories can be configured. This allows you to use storage that's closest to your users, providing the fastest experience possible. But also differentiate between those applications that always need to be available for every user, precast on a machine, resulting in that snappy experience a user expects, and those that are available on demand. As the characteristics of each machine group are different, so are its settings. Some have AppV and some have MSAX enabled. In a migration, we typically see both enabled. The behavior and delivery of each package type can be fine-tuned based on your requirements. By default, the agent only refreshes on startup, which avoids unnecessary traffic. This can be changed to a frequency of once a day up to every 10 minutes. But we recommend using the blue refresh cycle icon when real-time is needed. As we all know, the last stage in application lifecycle management is retiring an application. And when we retire an application, we'd like to have it removed from our machines. AppVentiX automatically removes it from your machines when they're no longer needed, leaving no traces behind. With AppVentiX, you no longer need group policies to configure the agent settings of AppV or MSAX. All these settings are embedded in the machine configuration, resulting in less consoles to manage for your sysadmins. On the actual desktop where your users run applications, we install a lightweight agent that handles all the complexity for you. Installing the lightweight agent is super simple. You can include it in your existing distribution with the provided silent install information. Or you push the agent directly from the management console and we'll take care of the installation for you. From the agent, which can be hidden from your users if you desire, you get an overview of the status of this machine. Is it connected? When was the last sync? And what content shares are used by this machine? From the agent, a refresh can also be initiated. This is especially convenient when you're in a hurry and quickly need to provide access to an application. To reduce the complexity of troubleshooting an application, we included access to some of the common power tools to help troubleshooting, like PowerShell and the registry editor. Important to note is that these power tools are only accessible when the user has the required privileges in the system. So typically you need to be an admin in order to use these tools. We spoke about the upcoming end of life for Microsoft AppV and that now is the time to work on an exit strategy. AppVentiX helps you to move to MSAX and AppAttach at your pace and on your terms. AppVentiX enables you to run AppV without the hassle. No complex infrastructure or configurations through GPU are required. At the same time, AppVentiX lets you run your business applications from MSAX containers. AppV and MSAX side by side, allowing you to move your applications from AppV one by one and at your own pace. If you desire, we provide automated single-click conversions from AppV to MSAX. For some applications, it can be that simple. In this environment, you'll see Firefox currently is delivered as an AppV application. And with a single click, we can convert this to an MSAX. AppVentiX can deliver your applications as native MSAX and using appAttach in AVD, but also in other supported environments. The conversion to appAttach from MSAX is equally simple. Just click on the Convert to appAttach, choose the desired disk format and specifics, and well, that's it. So what you've just seen in the demonstration of AppVentiX is that we provide centralized management, real-time machine and user inventory, well, automated cleanup, the support for AppV, well, the whole lot. So there's a whole bunch of key features that AppVentiX can provide you to help you with that migration. So does the end of life of AppV and Windows 10 still keep you awake? Together, we're going to make that data. We'll help you with your transition to a modern workplace with modern application delivery. And if you have any questions after this webinar, feel free to visit our website, send an email to info@appventix.com, and stay informed via LinkedIn or Twitter. And with that, we've come to the end of this webinar. I'd like to thank you for attending and look forward to hearing from you.